Good morning, all you beautiful faces. I'm Aaron from Finkton Languages, as many of you know, and I am back in America. I've been here for about 2 weeks now. I kind of made a quick emergency return back home from Thailand due to the COVID-19 pandemic. And now I'm going to be here in America for who knows how long. Here, let me readjust my camera a little bit. Thanks to all you guys who are already commenting. Shout out. Quarantine is spelt wrong in the thumbnail. Is it? Let me check that. Quarantine. Sometimes I don't spell check. Quarantine. Yeah, you're right. It's all right. I'll just go ahead and edit that right now. Making typos in my thumbnails. How are you guys all doing? Thanks for joining. I have a lot of viewers at the very beginning. I normally don't get that many. Anyways, I wanted to spend some time to talk about language learning during quarantine. I don't know why I always spell quarantine with an E instead of an A in the middle there. All right, quarantine. There we go. Just apply the filter. All right. Anyways, yes, I'm back in America. Can I ask questions? Yes, of course you can ask questions. That's what these live streams are for. I'm back in America. I'm going to be, sorry, I'm still exporting this new thumbnail. I'm going to be talking a little bit about what it's like to learn languages during quarantine. And specifically, one thing that I recommend quite often is learning toki Pona. So I know a lot of you guys have heard me talk about toki Pona in the past. All right, I'm not going to worry about the thumbnail right now because I can't focus on talking. A lot of you guys have heard me talk about toki Pona in the past. In fact, Maria Slewinski says, "Hey there, got your book about the little dragon in toki Pona. We'll read it later this week with my husband." Yeah, so I released a book in toki Pona along with some other languages earlier this week, I guess last week, to help people learn languages. And it's just really simple, kind of a supplement to other language learning resources in your language learning routine. I released the book in French, Spanish, English, Thai, and toki Pona. And oops, gotta approve this message there. And it's just a simple storybook about little dragon trying to eat some donuts. But you know, it's good practice for reading in a foreign language. And the toki Pona version I released for free, partially just because I believe in toki Pona and I want to help people learn that language. I want to help spread word about it. I think it's really fun and it's just a good mental exercise, and it's a good bridge to learning other languages, which is really what I want to talk about in this video mainly. But for those of you who don't know, toki Pona is a constructed language with only about 120 words in the whole language. In fact, I have the official book right here. And I think it says at the very beginning, it says toki Pona has only, officially there's 120 words, I think. Yeah, it says the entire language only uses only 120 words and 14 letters of the alphabet. So if you can imagine speaking a language that only has 120 words in the whole language, that's toki Pona. And obviously, a language that only has this few words is going to, you're going to have to simplify your thoughts before you speak, because you can't be having complex conversations about neuroscience using only 120 words. Can't be done. But it is a really interesting experiment for helping people learn to simplify their thoughts. And that's why I like Toki Pona. As well as it's so easy to learn the language. It's so easy to learn all of the words in the language that if you don't have experience learning other languages, Toki Pona is a great bridge. It's like a gateway drug into languages because it's so easy. You just start, and then over the course of like a week, you already know all of the words, and then you progress into other languages now that you have some experience learning languages. And so, yeah, so I released the Toki Pona version of my book for free, partially because I just want to help spread Toki Pona, also partially because I got people to work on it for free. I got free volunteers from the Toki Pona community to help translate, proofread, do the voice recording for my Toki Pona version of the book. And that was released for free because they helped to do it for free. Sorry, I know I'm missing a lot of comments here as I'm talking. I will try to go back and answer as many questions as I can. Anyways, yeah, so I recommend learning Toki Pona. I kind of already talked about that, but the reason I like Toki Pona so much, one of the main reasons, honestly, is because it's so easy. And you guys have probably heard me talk about Esperanto before. I love Esperanto. I've been actively learning Esperanto for like 3 or 4 years. Not super actively, kind of on and off, actively learning Esperanto for 4 years. I have my own Esperanto channel. And the thing I love about Esperanto is that it's super easy. And it's really fun to be able to learn on a new language really quickly over the course of just a few weeks. Toki Pona, you guys, Toki Pona is even easier than Esperanto. Here's the official book. I left a link to this book in Amazon if you're interested in learning more about it. And there's only 120 words, so you can legitimately learn to speak the language within the time that you're probably going to be in quarantine. You could probably learn all of the words. You could probably learn all of the vocabulary in the entire language in one day if you really pushed yourself, or for sure in a week. You know, it took me, I think it took me about 2 weeks to learn all of the vocabulary in the entire language, and I wasn't even trying that hard. In fact, in the description of this video, I left a link to a Memrise course that will help you learn all of the words in the language. Yanne says, Toki Pona li Pona. Toki, Yanne, he's one of the ones that helped with the book, with my book. Anyways, yeah, so my book, I have a link to it in the description of this video for free, just because I want to help people learn. I also have a version in Spanish, English, French, Thai. Those ones you can purchase on Amazon, but the Toki Pona version is free. I would also like to release an Esperanto version sometime soon because Esperanto is one of my favorite languages, and I just wasn't able to work out the logistics with translators and proofreaders and voice actors and all that stuff. But with Toki Pona, I got people to do it all for free. So anyways, yeah, that's all I really wanted to say about that. I'm going to go back and start looking at some of the comments here. Hola a todos. Hey there. Hi. Shout out. Hola. Can I ask questions? All right. Just watching you and eating a late breakfast in Brazil. What time is it in Brazil right now? Is it the same time? Right here, it's 11 a.m. in the Midwest of the United States. Okay. Maria says, I got your book about the little dragon. Yeah, let me know what you guys think about the book. It's brand new. I just released it last week, and so I'm still looking for feedback. Lorna says, I actually commented on one of your videos today, and you replied, thanks. I wondered what your thoughts were about the criticisms of Link. Do you think the app does have disadvantages? Yeah, this is really exciting for me. I'm actually going to do a video chat with Steve Kaufman next Monday. Steve Kaufman is the owner or creator of Link. He's like a famous polyglot. on YouTube. If you guys don't know him, you should definitely look up Steve Kaufman. Link, and I guess I'll just pull it up here. Link is one of my favorite resources for learning languages. It's LINGQ. And it's just designated to help you read things in your target language. But that's a huge help when you're trying to become more fluent, getting lots of comprehensible input. And it highlights words that you don't know yet or words that you haven't yet encountered in the app. And it will highlight words that you clicked on and you told the app that you wanted to learn. You want to spend more time practicing those words. It's really useful, and I love it. And I'm super excited to get the chance to talk to Steve Kaufman next week. So I'm really excited for that. Lorna says, why is reading 1 million words significant when 90% of everyday spoken language equates to roughly 7,500 words? I don't know where you're getting this statistic that it's important to read 1 million words. I don't know if that's a common suggestion to read 1 million words. But the more you can read, the better. Steve Krashen, not Stephen Kaufman. Wait, I mix up their names a lot. Stephen Krashen is one of the most famous second language acquisition linguists. He's an expert in the field. And he says that what he calls free voluntary reading is possibly the single best tool that second language educators have. Just simply allowing students to read freely and read something that they enjoy without putting stress on them or without giving tests or without putting pressure on students to reading for fun is one of the best ways that you can learn a new language. All right, I'm getting a message here that says your connection is unstable, but hopefully things are still going fine for you guys. And so I don't know about reading 1 million words. I don't know where you're getting that from, but reading as much as you can is going to be a huge help to language learning. And any kind of comprehensible input that you can get is going to be a huge help. I'm 15 years old and I'm learning Spanish. I'm getting a language tutor in 21 days or so. Any tips on how to learn more vocab in Spanish or how to learn verb conjugations? Yeah. So one thing that you can do for learning lots of new vocab is flashcards, online flashcards. I don't really like to do physical flashcards. That's kind of a waste of time to me. I like to use digital flashcards. You can use Anki or you can use Memrise. What's the other one? Quizlet or something like that. Online flashcards are the way to go, in my opinion, because you can get them professionally made by other people who did voice recordings by native speakers, and they usually these flashcards are made by native speakers who know good translations of the word from the target language into your native language. It's just really helpful. But even more so than using flashcards. Flashcards are nice. They're a good way of making your study time really focused and really kind of deliberately focusing on vocabulary. But encountering a new vocabulary word in a flashcard isn't necessarily the same as encountering it in a real life situation or encountering it in context. I always think it's better to learn a vocabulary word in the context of actually using that word as opposed to just the word by itself. And most experts, I think, would agree with me on that. Now, the problem is you can't really focus your study time around learning new vocabulary words if you're just reading or watching movies or something and encountering these words naturally and organically. So I try to find a balance between focused study using flashcards or some kind of app that will help you learn vocabulary, and getting lots of exposure to the language, getting lots of comprehensible input, which is why I created the book series that I did. For those of you who are just joining, you can find the link to that in the description of this video. Okay, I mean, I agree completely. Depends on your initial toki pona li pona. Where was I? Sorry, I'm just reading through some of the comments here. I don't use the link review system. You can also use the Google Translate web extension if you want to read things online for free. Yeah, that's a good point. Link has a lot of features. I basically only use Link exclusively just as an e-reader, essentially, but it's much better than my Kindle e-reader because it has the link system where you can click on words and create a link, and it'll highlight words that you don't know. It gives you a translation right there on the spot. So I prefer to use Link for that. I don't use their spaced repetition system that quizzes you on words. When I first started, I used that more, but now I have like, I don't know, thousands and thousands of links saved on the app, and it's just not useful. Tara Gray says, I read the French book. It was awesome. Thanks, Tara. Brennan Ramsey says, Edo. I mean, I don't know about you people. I'm just kidding. If you want to learn Edo, that's totally cool. I won't make fun of you for that. But Mortigu idistoin. All right, Lorna says, I'm just curious on different people's opinions on what the most effective way to absorb a language is in the beginning stages. So there's different schools of thought. You hear people like Benny Lewis say the most important thing is to start having conversations with people from day one, and you have to start speaking, or you have to start with output from day one. I do try to start speaking as early as possible when I'm learning a new language. I want to interact with other people in the language that I'm learning because that's what makes it fun. Like, that's the whole point of learning a language to me. It's communicating with other people. So I, like Benny Lewis, I do try to start speaking as early as possible. Now, there's other people who say, don't worry about speaking right away. Just start reading and absorbing lots of material right away through comprehensible input. And I get that too. Like, it's important to do that stuff. The problem is I can't really do a lot of extensive reading in a foreign language that I just started learning today, right? It takes a while before reading in a foreign language becomes enjoyable. There's other people who, like, for example, probably if you lived in America, almost certainly your language classes revolved around learning a bit of grammar and then practicing that grammar, probably learning some vocabulary words and practicing those vocabulary words with other students who are not native speakers, or with your teacher who probably is not a native speaker. But you spend a lot of time doing drills and worksheets and like just really boring crap like that. And that's way less interesting than interacting with real people. So one of the first things I do right away when I start a language is I go on Hello Talk or Tandem or on Reddit or other language apps designed to connect you with native speakers. And I try to have conversations with native speakers, even though I know I'm not going to be able to say much. And the little bit that I do say is going to be grammatically incorrect. I know it. I'm aware of that from the very beginning. And I just don't care. Like, it's more fun for me to interact with other human beings in a foreign language that I speak crappily than it would be to sit with a book and do drills. So that's my recommendation. David P says, "Hola desde Madrid." Hola, David. I'm curious about that. I think you make a great point there. I mean, what is the difference with just using a monolingual dictionary? Monolingual dictionaries are great, but especially at the beginning, you're not going to be like, you can't read a definition in Spanish if you don't yet speak Spanish. It's just way more useful to use a bilingual dictionary at the very beginning. Okay. Oh, so many comments I'm missing. Sorry, guys. Whoa, never heard of this language. Yeah. Okay. So I started off the video chat talking about Toki Pona. Toki Pona is excellent. It's really interesting. There's only 120 words in the whole language, and there's an official book. I also just released a book that I'm giving away the PDF file for free. As a matter of fact, I'm also going to start releasing a paperback copy of the book on Amazon probably within the next few weeks. So I'm giving away the Toki Pona book for free. On you can find the link in the description of this video. I'm giving it away for free. The paperback, obviously, I can't give away for free because it costs money to print. So I'm going to put it on Amazon Kindle, the direct paperback publishing thing, and I'm going to set the price to whatever is the lowest price I can set it for. And then Amazon will get the money for the they'll get the money for the printing costs of the book, and then I think they'll probably charge, I don't know what the minimum price is that Amazon will let you charge, but I'll charge the minimum just in case people want a physical paperback copy of my Toki Pona book. The other versions of the book I'll still charge a normal price, but Toki Pona I'm just trying to spread. And I'll also probably put in the description of the Amazon account. I'm offering this book for free as an e-file, but if you want the paperback copy, you can buy it here. Because some people just prefer paperback copies over ebooks. All right, it's 13:09 in Brazil, but I woke up so late. Yeah, so I guess it's 2 hours later in Brazil than it is here. How much does Link cost? The Link has a free. There's a free version of Link that really sucks, and it's hard because I feel like I don't want people to base their opinion of Link off the free version. So you can try it. You can try Link for free. See if you like it. I just really recommend you buy a monthly subscription because I think it's only like $9 or $10. I think it's $9.99 for a month to get Link, and it's like, just try it. Try it for a month. It's been really useful for me, and I don't get any money for saying that, by the way. I've never accepted money from other people's products. Well, sometimes people try to get me to advertise their product, or they say they will give you a commission. I don't want to do that because I want you guys to know that I'm endorsing products that I actually like rather than products I'm just getting paid for. I guess I endorse my own product a lot, but that's because I created it. It's exactly the way I think it should be to help you learn languages. But anyways, I believe in Link. I think it's a really good app, and I think it's like $10, but just try it. Give it a try. It can't hurt. That's my spiel about Link. Okay, Lorna Day says, why would you pay for a Link when you can use a monolingual dictionary, offline or online, for free and just absorb free content on the internet? What does Link really offer? Oh, if you ask that question, that means you haven't tried Link. Link is so much better. Honestly, the beautiful thing for Link to me is that it has built-in connections to websites like wordreference.com. which is so much better than a dictionary. That's another website that I always recommend. Wordreference.com, if you're learning a language that they support. It's like a dictionary, except it's so much more in depth. Like, it gives you all the different uses of the word, whereas a paper dictionary would have to be like this fat in order to include all of the details that wordreference.com includes. You can go straight to Google Translate. You can look up whole phrases. That's another thing that link does that dictionaries don't do. Like, a lot of times you can save a link you can save an entire sentence as a link, because it might be a phrase that means something in the target language that the individual words don't mean in your native language. Like, if you're learning English and you run into a sentence that says, "It was raining cats and dogs." Well, you can't just go to the dictionary and look up cats and dogs and rain and understand what that sentence means, right? Because cats and dogs actually have nothing to do with what it means to rain cats and dogs. But if you highlight the whole phrase and link, then there will probably already be someone already probably made a link and gave the definition that says, to rain cats and dogs has nothing to do with cats and dogs. It means to rain a lot. Or I paid an arm and a leg, or, any of these phrases that we use that the individual parts of the phrase don't add up to the entire meaning of the whole phrase. I'd like to know how many I'd like to know how many Romance languages you speak. I speak Spanish and French. Those are the only Romance languages I speak, unless you count Esperanto, which is not actually a Romance language, but it's based off of Romance languages. I've also learned a little bit of Portuguese in the past, and Romanian, but I remember almost no Romanian. Let's see. I'm trying to remember if I can say something in Romanian. Numa ye. I remember like Buna and I don't know. I could probably remember a little bit of Romanian if I tried, but I can't. Portuguese, I remember a little bit more because I talk to Portuguese or Brazilian people more often. Okay, LEK says, Sina yo ala yo e nasin sona pona pitoki luka. Have you ever tried to learn one? Okay, Sina yo ala yo e nasin sona pona. So my toki pona isn't excellent. It's actually very bad. I've only dabbled in toki pona. Have you ever tried to learn one? Toki luka. Yeah, I mean, just things that we've already talked about. I'm probably way behind in the comments. Yeah, I realize people are leaving comments way. I'm answering your comments way after they're asked. All right, that's fair enough. If I sound critical, I just like to question everything. Jose Nieto says, "Hola, parcero desde Colombia." Hola, Jose. I'm definitely not a hater. Okay, hello, that's great. I tried to learn Toki Pona a few years ago. Maybe I should use it again. Yeah, my journey with Toki Pona has essentially been from the very beginning. I heard about it. I went home for Christmas break. I think when I was living in El Salvador, I went home for Christmas break just for 2 weeks. And since I wasn't doing anything, I got the Toki Pona book and I taught myself Toki Pona over the course of 2 weeks. And you're not going to be an expert in 2 weeks, but you can learn all of the vocabulary and you can learn enough to interact with people on Twitter. And there's a lot of people on Twitter, actually, and on Instagram who use Toki Pona regularly, who tweet only in Toki Pona. And it's good practice because every now and then I see someone that I'm following tweet in Toki Pona, and I try to translate it, and it's really easy. It's so easy. So I spent 2 weeks learning Toki Pona. Then a year or two later, I spent 2 more weeks learning Toki Pona just for fun. And every now and then I study a little bit more. One time I did a live stream all day where I just did nothing but learn Toki Pona live on YouTube. And I learned a lot. I learned so much because it's such an easy language. It was really fun. And learning Toki Pona is a great gateway into learning other languages, because you learn how you learn, and you learn the best practices. You learn good ways to find resources online. And you just get your confidence up. Sorry. You get your confidence up in being able to speak a language that you're not totally comfortable with. And once you get comfortable with that, then you start getting more confidence to learn Toki Pona, or to learn French and to speak to French speakers, or Spanish or German or Chinese speakers, or whatever language you actually want to learn. So I really think learning Toki Pona for a week or 2 weeks, especially if you're in quarantine and you're not doing anything else, I think that can have a much better impact on learning whatever language you want to learn eventually. All right. So many comments. Sorry for not answering them all. Okay. Toki Pona is such an interesting language. Yes, you are right. Vi pravas. I've been learning Spanish. My channel documents my journey. Cool. Interesting. Do you use online tutors, and how do you use an online tutor effectively? Yes. Yes, I do. Not a whole lot. So mostly I've just tried to find people online using Hello Talk or something along those lines, that I can just practice with. And then I usually practice English with them a little bit, and then they practice French or Thai or whatever with me a little bit. So you get that free back and forth. It's a little bit harder to be super consistent with that, because you're not paying them, so you can't really expect them to always change their schedule for you, unless you are paying them. And also, then, if you want to spend half an hour speaking English with them and half an hour speaking French with them, then then that's an entire hour that you have to give of your day for half an hour of practice. So that's normally what I do, but there's positives and negatives to it. I really do enjoy using My.toki to find language tutors and language practice partners, I guess. You can get really good deals, especially depending on the country that the person you're of the person you're trying to learn their language. Like, if you want to learn Luxembourgish or like Swedish or something, you're probably going to pay a lot more. If you want to learn, I don't know, Wolof or Urdu or something, you might be able to find someone who is willing to teach you for less. But the way that I use My.toki is, you don't want to find someone who's just going to teach you the language, right? Because you could buy a textbook and learn from the textbook yourself, or you could use Duolingo to teach you the grammar of the language. And a tutor can be nice, they can be helpful for that. But really, what I'm looking for when I look for an My.toki person is I'm looking for someone that's going to speak the language to me, and someone that's not going to speak English or very minimal English. And I want to have a conversation with someone, and I want to start building my confidence speaking the language with that person, even when I'm speaking incorrectly, right? I want to have conversations in that language. That's the point of me finding a tutor on My.toki. Okay. I'm pretty comfortable at talking native level online business classes in Spanish. Okay. When do you usually feel comfortable to go study another language? That's a great question. When do you feel comfortable to start studying another language? I don't know. it totally depends on what you want to learn the language for. So when I was in El Salvador, I was already probably at a upper B level in Spanish when I decided to start learning Esperanto. But I never stopped wanting to learn Spanish, so I kept continuing to learn Spanish. And then on the side, I just thought Esperanto was such an interesting sounding language. On the side, I started studying a little bit of Esperanto, and I don't think that really hurt me. Then I was already fluent in Spanish before I decided to start learning French. And I spent a long time learning French. My French is pretty good now. I guess maybe it's a little bit rusty because I've been out of school and I've been learning Thai so intensely for the last year. But I decided it was a very natural time for me to decide to stop learning French and start learning Thai because I moved to Thailand. So that was, I don't know how you could have any more clear of a time to do that than that. So I started learning Thai. Now I am back in America. I don't want to lose my Thai, but I have not been focusing on learning Thai. And if I never become fluent in Thai, it doesn't really bother me. I can have basic conversations with people. If I go to a Thai restaurant where there's a Thai speaker, I can order in Thai. I could have basic conversations about, how are you doing today? That kind of thing. And to be honest, if I never become fluent in Thai, that won't bother me. Or don't get any better than I am now, that won't bother me. I do want to start knocking some of the rust off of my French because I'm going to be going back to Montreal sometime again. And I want to maintain my Spanish because it's probably the most useful language you can know in the United States, second language. I mean, it's the most useful language other than English that you can know in the United States. I would like to learn Chinese at some point. But for now, I'm happy just maintaining the languages that I already speak. I would like to improve my Esperanto a little bit. Or maybe Toki Pona. Like, it's just so easy, you guys. It's so much fun. It's so easy. I don't know. Sometimes I just take like a week and start learning Toki Pona again, or I'll take like a day and do a live stream learning Toki Pona. So fun. Yeah, it seems to be completely cut out. Oh, so apparently live stream stopped for a minute, but it sounds like it's back. Sorry, I know I'm so behind on these questions. I'm just kind of skimming through them now. Toki Luka. Sign languages. Oh, I would be interested in learning a sign language sometime. I think that would be interesting. Interesting thing to learn, just to see the other side of it. All right, do you use online tutors? I already read that. You are amazing. Thank you. Okay. Where was I? V Pravas, you just spoke Esperanto. Sorry. Sometimes all the languages, they just get mixed up. All right. Using a living language course. Okay, how many hours do you study a day? Depends. I've gone through many different ranges of that. Like when I first started learning Thai, I was so intense because I had just graduated from college and I hadn't yet started my job. So it was basically like 2 months of me not having any responsibilities. So I just studied Thai all day. I would study for like 3 or 4 hours a day, which was super fun. Kind of drove my family crazy because everywhere I went, I was saying, "Sawadee krap, Pom Chu Aaron." But after a while, that started to fade down, and now I don't actively study. I do like reading. I do like maintaining kind of stuff. I read ebooks and link in French and Spanish most days. I play Pokemon in Spanish. I have Pokemon Red in Spanish for the Game Boy. So I play that. I also have it in French. So I do that kind of thing. I listen to podcasts to maintain. I'm not like going on Duolingo and trying to learn more grammar or whatever, because I just don't have the discipline to do that, to tell you the truth. How old were you when you first started learning? How old were you when you started learning your first language? 0. The same age everyone is when they start learning their first language. I think you mean when did I start learning my second language? 25, more or less. That's when I really started learning Spanish. I had taken Spanish classes in high school, but you guys know, if you're from the US, you know how useful classes are. That is to say, they're not useful. Like, you learn, so many people graduate from high school having taken 2 years of Spanish or French or whatever, and they don't speak any of it. But it's because they're not really using very good methods for learning. You use textbooks and worksheets and flashcards and stuff like that. Well, I have mixed feelings about flashcards. But you're not really having experiences talking to other human beings. You're not reading things that you enjoy. You're not finding ways to use the language in real life. And if you just go to class once a day and do your homework, that's not enough. Okay, hi Fingtam. Can you tell us what jobs can a linguistics student have? Okay, so there's really a job that's called linguist. So you can't, don't expect to just get a bachelor's degree in linguistics and then be a linguist and work as a linguist, right? That's not a job. You're gonna have to specialize in something, but linguistics goes into every part of our life. Like, if you have a Siri, hey Siri, c'est quoi la météo? Oops, it's not talking out loud.
Voici les prévisions météo d'aujourd'hui.
Okay, so Siri can understand the words that I'm saying because some linguist figured out how to translate the sound waves that I create with my mouth into French. I have my phone set to French, or English, or whatever language you have your Siri set to, or your Alexa, right? Someone has to figure out how to do that. And that's just one example of how a linguist needed to be hired to work on this product, right? But it also goes into a lot of linguists study second language acquisition. At my school, teaching English as a second language was part of the linguistics department. There's all kinds of different things that linguists can do. They hired a linguist on the Game of Thrones cast, or not in the cast, but in the, they hired a linguist for Game of Thrones to come up with the Dothraki language that you hear them speaking on the movie. So that's, I mean, don't go into linguistics expecting to do that. But lots of things that you don't think about because you don't realize how deeply language is embedded into our daily lives. Everything we do involves language, whether we realize it or not. Can you come out with another book in French? Yes, I will. I've been working on another book series, actually. I don't know when it's going to come out. I'm not specifically working really hard on that. But we'll see how this book goes, and we'll see what people like about it and what other people don't like about it. And then maybe in a few months, I'll have another book series that will be better than this one because I'll refine it a little bit more. All right, Ellen says, I like to use websites to talk with people by video. It influences me to improve my English. Yeah, in fact, there's a great website called voicetube.com, and I think it's VoiceTube. Yeah, voicetube.com. I'll put that in the chat. .com. And it's only for learning English at this point, unfortunately. But if you're learning English, you go to this website and you put in a YouTube video if it has subtitles, and then it'll go through and it'll teach you all of the words in that YouTube video. And it's good practice for learning languages. For learning English, because it's only for English. I don't know. Maybe they have other websites like that for other languages. I haven't found them yet. Okay. I'm a Berber native speaker. My language would amaze you. You should check it out. I could help you if you want. Yeah, I mean, there's so many languages I would love to learn, and I just don't have time. So maybe if I ever go to Africa again, I already lived in Africa. Man, that was the disappointing thing. I lived in a French-speaking country for 6 or 7 months, and I didn't learn any French. That was before I was interested in languages. I lived in Djibouti in Africa for like, I don't remember, 6 or 7 months in 2012. Wasted the whole opportunity. I could have learned Arabic, could have learned French, didn't learn anything. I just wasn't interested in languages at that time. Okay, hey, do you recommend children's school textbooks for language learning? Not really. No, not school textbooks. If you want to, if you're into that kind of thing, if that's your personality, if that's your learning style, then go for it. You're probably not going to have a whole lot of success becoming fluent, because textbooks aren't designed to help you become fluent. They're designed to help pass out of the grade level, or to, study for a test. I definitely recommend children's books for reading practice. Do I have any in here? Like, The Hobbit, I have in multiple languages. I have The Hobbit in Esperanto. I don't know. I think this is kind of a famous book. It's called The Guardians of Gahul or something like that. I don't know if it's the same thing in English as it is in French. I liked reading that. Here's the Harry Potter books in French. Here's Number the Stars. This is one of my favorite books. I read that in French. They're easy to read in a foreign language because they're designed for children. So that's nice. This is a L'Ambulance 13. This is a graphic novel that I have in French, and it's really nice because it has a bunch of pictures to help you understand what's going on. So I do really encourage people to read books that are at their level in a foreign language. Sometimes it sucks because children's books, like even children who are native speakers, can understand a lot of the strange phrases and like the colloquial speech or the non-standard speech that adults use. And an adult non-native speaker might not pick up on all that stuff that children can pick up on. So that's why if you can find a graded reader or something that's designed for second language speakers, that's even better than using stuff like this that is designed for young native speakers. So you can find a balance though. Like, I love this book in English, so I wanted to read it in French. All right, I'm having a hard time fitting language learning in my schedule because of school and work. Any advice? Yeah, find downtime that you already spend not doing anything. Like, I had a long commute to get to school, and I would listen to Spanish podcasts. I would listen to Spanish music or French music. I would listen to a lot of stuff in foreign languages that I could do while I was driving or while I was cooking or eating or walking. When you go to the gym, listen to music in the foreign language that you're learning. Find ways to fit it into the little nooks and crannies of your schedule, right? The downtime that you have, or even if it's just a few minutes, you can listen to a song or something. Hey, nice to see live videos. I'm not a native English speaker, but the thumbnail video says quarantine. Is yes, I know. I did spell that word incorrectly, and I was going to change it, but I was just too lazy. I'm having a hard time fitting learning languages in my schedule. I already read that one. Okay, hi, I'm from Lima. How do you think about Babbel, Mango Languages, and Pimsleur? I love Pimsleur. Mango is okay for beginning stages, and Babbel I don't love, but I think if you enjoy it, then you can use it. That's fine. He says, I appreciate your comments. Thank you. When do I know that it is time to remove the subtitles from a movie that I'm watching in the language I'm studying? I don't know. Do you have to? Maybe the time never comes. I don't know. I still use subtitles in English sometimes. So I don't know. I think it's fine if you use subtitles. Are you talking about subtitles in your native language or subtitles in your foreign language? Because yeah, you don't always want to use subtitles in your native language. But I don't think there's any problem with using subtitles in the language you're learning, unless your ability to read is so much better than your ability to understand, to listen. If you want to focus specifically on listening, then yeah, get rid of subtitles. But I don't know. Even when I'm watching English movies, I often use subtitles because it just makes it easier. Sometimes you can't always hear what they're saying. I don't think it matters that much. What video games do you play? I play Pokemon in Spanish and in French, and I sometimes play games on my phone. Oh, I bought for my iPad. I bought Knights of the Old Republic, and I played that in French for a long time. That was fun. Any game that's mostly text-based or like adventure-based that you do a lot of talking with other characters, like the Elder Scrolls games are great for that. I played the Stranger Things video game iPad app. That was fun. I guess the best way to learn a foreign language, at least for me, is surround yourself with the target language. For instance, you can change your phone language. You can listen to music. Yeah, just do things all day long to listen to your target language, or to be reading in your target language all day. So I think I'm going to end the video here. Thanks for watching. If you guys haven't yet started, I recommend looking into Toki Pona. I have an online course linked in the video description below. It's really good. It's the course I used to start learning Toki Pona. Give it a try. It's fun. Can't go wrong. So anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys soon.